Is Colby Covington a bigger fight than Ian Garry?
Yeah, to a certain degree, he really is. Right now he's a higher rank than Ian Garry. I think he's just like one number ranked above
Mm.
Ian Garry, and then yet again, he has fought for a title before. He actually fought for a title three times, so this is a person that is put himself in a position where he was a top ranked contender. And did he succeed? Nope. But he still fought for a title, which a lot of guys can't even say they've done that. So with that being said, going out there and kind of putting on a performance that I know I can put on Colby Covington, and actually, going out there and dominating Colby Covington, he's still a high level athlete. He's still a high level fighter, and to go out there and put him in a situation where he looks like an amateur, I think is going to make it good for me to kind of speak volumes on me fighting for that belt next.
I think it was around about 5 or 6 weeks out from the date of UFC 310 when we heard the news that Bilal was out of his fight with Shavkat.
Yeah.
And there was obviously a question on who was going to step in to face Shavkat. Would there be an interim title on the line? Would Shavkat stay on the
Right.
card? You obviously get this matchup against Colby, and Ian steps in to
Mhm.
face Shavkat. Talk to me a little bit
Mhm.
about how this fight came to fruition, and was there any discussions about you potentially stepping in to face Shavkat?
No, no, there was no discussions on me fighting Shot Cop, but I definitely did put my, my name in the hat.
Mm.
But they already had plans, once Bilal had fell out, obviously, the UFC is scrambling trying to figure out what fight they can make and what is the biggest fight they can make. So yeah, they said why not put the two undefeated cats against each other, and then two people that like to talk a lot of trash and promote the fight with one another, put them up against each other and see what we can get out of it. So I think that's the UFC. They move real fast and they able to, problem solve pretty good. So we got two better fights. I feel like what I mean made up right now.
Colby's been very inactive, given that in his last 5 to 6 years we haven't seen him too much, and there's always been a question about has he been selective with his
Mhm.
matchmaking. So I think it was met by a little bit of surprise, if I can be honest, when I heard
Yeah.
the news. What do you think the UFC did to make Colby Covington accept the fight with you on short notice?
Uh, no telling, and you already know the UFC pockets real big. You hear me?
Mm.
So, they probably gave him a little extra something to take this fight. But when I see that he wants to fight guys like Paddy Pimblett, when he wants to fight guys like Dustin Poirier or Islam
Mm.
Makhachev, like it's just like those type of matchups don't make any sense. Because first off, none of these guys are welterweight fighters, and one of them is a 145er. So it's just crazy that he was really kind of calling out for those fights and to try to make those things happen. So what I'm thinking in my mind is that Kobe was trying to find him just a last like hoorah fight where he can pretty much have an easy fight, easy win, and then go about his merrily way. I don't know what his contract looks like. I don't know if he has another fight on his contract, but I feel like for me, I feel like he getting his walking papers after this.
We know what Colby does. We know what Colby did in his prime. It's pace and pressure, and it's wrestling. That's the Colby Covington MO.
That's all he knows. That's all
Let's
he knows.
let's be honest. When you look at this fight, I know you don't want to give away the game plan, but how much of it is to keep it in the striking?
Not. Well, the thing is, people don't realize, like, yes, I'm a striker. The majority of my wins, or my finishes come by knockout, right? But at the end of the day, my background was wrestling.
Mm.
Like I started with wrestling, and I trained with a great camp and with Nick Simmons at Saw Academy, and I trained with some of the best guys in the nation, if not the world, when it comes to wrestling. So I'm not afraid to get into a grappling situation
Mm.
with Kobe. Like I'll be honest with you, I'm eager. I'm excited for the challenge, and I'm excited how I will do in situations when it comes to the grappling because I already know that when it comes to on the feet that I'm going to beat him every single time. So
Mm.
I feel like what's going to speak even more volumes is what I do with him on the ground as well. So you might see some shots out of Buck too. You hear me?
Mm.
Let's go.
You do strike me as somebody who likes to beat people at their own game.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, well, my thing is whatever you leave open, whatever you leave exposed, I'm gonna take it.
Mm.
So for a lot of guys, they leave themselves open because they feel like somebody's not going to do a certain thing. And well, perfect example when Leon took down Usman. Usman wasn't
Mm.
expecting Leon to go for a takedown, and Leon, did it. He took it, and that's how you saw, Usman get taken down for the first time. So in my personal opinion, it's just like for me, it's like doing the same thing. It's just like understanding what holes are there and just exposing them every time I see it.
100%. There's a video going around on social media. You may have seen it of Colby on the pads getting ready for this fight. It's getting a lot of heat.
Nah,
People
I
saying
ain't
that.
saying nothing
Have you
from
not seen
Kobe.
it?
Nah,
Oh,
nah,
I'll
nah.
have to send you. But anyway,
Yeah,
but
dig that up. Dig that up.
100%. But when you look at this matchup, Colby's lost three times in recent memory. Twice by decision to Leon Edwards and Kamaru Usman in title fights, as you mentioned. Once via fifth round TKO to Kamaru Usman in a title fight. This fight will obviously go is scheduled for 25 minutes. When you look at this matchup, do you feel like you can get the stoppage victory, or do you see this one going the distance?
Well, that all depends on the fighter. That all
Mm,
depends on Kobe. Like,
mm,
like that's his decision. If he wants to make it to the judges scorecard, he gonna have to do a lot of surviving. But regardless, it's just like every time I go out there to fight, my mentality and my game plan is always to hunt for the finish. Right?
mm,
I'm a finisher. That's just how I'm bred. That's just how I come. And a lot of people would think that, oh well, you don't want to force it. Well, that's the thing. Just my fighting style. Naturally, I don't have to force it. It's
mm.
just my style. And yet again, it's up to the other person to try to survive my style and see and make it to the judges' scorecard. So I'm gonna just go out there, be me, man, and go out there, have fun. And yet again, a lot of exciting things happen when I do that.
You said earlier that this is a matchup between two guys who like to talk.
Yeah,
We know what a Colby Covington fight week brings, and we know that he can
yeah.
sometimes go to places that maybe other people won't or maybe shouldn't.
Right.
Are you expecting an ugly build-up in this one?
Of course, but the thing is though, the thing about my shit talking and his shit talking, his is fake, mine's is real.
Mm,
And no matter what he brings up or what he says, I done met this man in person. I know the real Kobe Covington. And what he is a character, and he's playing like a whole fictional person. So for me, it's just like I want to bring up the fact that you a bitch and that you soft and that like the person that you're portraying is somebody yet again that does not exist, but we all know the real you. And I'm not going right now. I'm gonna keep all the stuff that I got on my
mm,
bag on my end
as
to
you should.
myself. But there's a lot of things that I can say about Kobe Covington that's true, and what he gonna have to say is just shit that he making up off the top of his head.
What happens if it does get ugly?
Like what? To what degree you talking
What
about?
happens if he says something that you deem to be below the belt?
Oh no no
Do you
no.
keep your
Well, that's the
cool?
beautiful thing. So for me, I already know there is no rules to this, right? Is there certain lines I will cross? No, there's a couple things that me personally I would not mention, but when you talk about the fight game, everything is on limits.
Mm,
You can say whatever about anything if you feel like it's going to make somebody emotionally invested in that fight and cause them to act out of character. But for me, yet again, my fighting style is already a finisher, right?
mm,
So I'm not going to be emotionally invested in this fight. I'm just going to do what I do because I'm already a devastating fighter.
yeah.
You had a person like who I fought with, Wonder Boy, the nicest guy in the world, didn't
Mm,
say not one mean thing about me, didn't talk about my family, didn't talk about anything that I loved, and I
mm,
still took him to the king. I still knocked him out, right?
mm,
Yet again, this is just a business. But the only thing and the only difference is, right, if I really do feel some type of way, which I'm not saying I wouldn't, but if
mm,
I do knock you out, now do I make the choice of stopping or keep going,
mm.
right?
Yeah.
So that's the difference.
Yeah. And I hope you didn't mind me answer that question because I know it's a personal one, but I just wanted to ask you it. You mentioned Wonder Boy there. The point I wanted to mention was the last time we spoke, we talked about, well, in the lead up to the Wonder Boy fight, we were talking about how everybody who's beat Wonder Boy has gone on to fight for a world title. Everybody since 2016 who's beat Colby Covington has held a UFC world title. So what do you
That's
think a
crazy.
win over Colby Covington does for you in terms of your title aspirations?
Well, yet again, I mean, not just trying to put his name out there, but I think just a win, a dominant win, a
Mm,
dominant performance, is going to put me in a position to get to that title. And for me, it's just like, I can talk and talk and talk. People not gonna believe me until the results speak for themselves. So we just gonna keep winning, man. We just gonna keep clocking in. And yet again, the next time I step into that cage again, and that's after the Kobe fight, I'm definitely expecting to have some gold around my waist.